What's cracking, Dice fans? Ross with the Weekly Dice Arena, back with another box opening. Today we're going to be opening up the Tag Teams Team Pack that comes alongside the new WWE Dice Masters box, courtesy of Wizkids. Let's jump right in, see what the cards are like, and see what we think about them. A couple things in this team pack specifically. We've got these dual energy characters. So again, to purchase any of these characters with two energy types, you have to pay. For instance, if you're going to buy Big E, you have to pay one mask, one shield, and then two of anything else to accomplish his purchase cost. His Cross Pulse ability is another thing that we haven't seen in a while, but Cross Pulse means if you purchase all four of his energy with just masks and shields, you get to trigger this ability, draw and prep a die. I think it's pretty bad, to be honest. These dual energy characters are pretty hard crossovers, if you will, pretty hard to purchase, and the ability is just not good enough to warrant me really worrying about it. The next, Big E, another 4 cost crossover mask shield. While Big E is active, any combat damage that that is more than 2 is reduced to 2. Reduced to 2. This is going to be awesome. The stats: a 1-2-7. 7 defense for a 4 cost. We didn't necessarily talk about that in his first iteration, but it wouldn't really have changed my mind. But this one, my friends, with as many huge stat lines as we know are in the campaign box and these team packs, this is going to be a must-have in the set and out of set. I think this is going to see some action on both fronts. Pretty cool. Also a 0-1-1 fielding cost for Big E. Means he comes in a little bit below average for this set with only a 2 total fielding cost. I think we're going to see some Big E out there sometime soon. His last iteration, Tag Team Champion, Tag Out. If you saw the campaign box opening video, I love the Tag Out keyword. It says, after blockers are declared, you may prep this die from the field zone to give any target character die +2/+2 till end of turn. That is a wild freaking bolded keyword. I cannot wait to experiment with this. Big E, I'm not sure if you're going to be the one that I'm looking for, because I feel like there's a lot of really good tag out characters. But if you were, for instance, going to be drafting this set, I'd be looking for some tag out. Going to be a good way to buff up lots of stuff, especially after blockers are assigned. That's the crazy part about tag out. Kevin Nash from the Wolf Pack. He's also a crossover character, this time Bolt Fist. He has the Cross Pulse keyword. Remove target opposing character die from the field zone until end of turn. So it's like Intimidate, but it's when you purchase this die. That's kind of cool. I mean, you can... Intimidate is good these days, so maybe this will be good these days. Again, purchasing these crossover characters is going to be tricky. However, you know, it's not going to be impossible. It's going to be... Anyway, we'll see. I think somebody could find a use for this. I do think that the same effect can be achieved other ways that are easier. Also, fielding costs, again, we sort of are frowning on some fielding costs in this set. 1, 2, 3 for Mr. Kevin Nash. Yikes. Next, who do we got? Oh, Kevin Nash, of course. His next iteration, the Founder, NWO Founder. Whenever a Kevin Nash superstar die is damaged while attacking and not KO'd, deal 2 damage to your opponent. Wow. So we've seen almost this same identical ability on Iceman, and we saw that be like a heavy hitter in terms of competitive play. This one is slightly different in a couple different ways. The first is that while he's damaged during attacking, but he's not KO'd, so that last 1 ping of damage that would actually KO this die will not deal the damage to your opponent, but Iceman would. Also, Iceman just requires you to be in the attack step. So it could be your attack step, your opponent's attack step. This one is single-sided. It is only while he is attacking, deal the 2 damage to your opponent. It's still going to be good. Like in a draft, this is going to be naughty. This is going to be pretty sick. So pick this one up if you can. Also, a little icing on the cake. Global, pay fist. Target superstar die can't block this turn unless its owner pays 2 life. You can only use this global once per character die. Wow. Really good, really good. Any sort of blocker manipulation, especially in this set, is going to be awesome, considering the stats you're going to be throwing at somebody, along with the tag out keyword. There's just going to be a lot of combat shenanigans, and anytime you can adjust the way that an opponent has to block or can block, I think it's going to be primo. Kevin Nash, you're in the uppers. Kevin Nash, a 5 cost this time. Interesting. You have to have 5 bolts or fists to buy him, or a combination of both. While Kevin Nash, when he attacks, you may pay bolt fist to gain +2 attack, +2 defense, and overcrush until the end of turn. What? Pay 2 to get +2/+2 and overcrush. Now, let's look at the stat line, see if this makes some sense. So on level 1, he becomes a 5/5. Level 2, he becomes a 6/6. And level 3 becomes a 7/8. Pretty cool. However, if I've paid the 3 fielding costs down here for level 3, and I still have a fist bolt, just so happen to have a fist bolt, you know, that's a lot of energy on one turn to be pumping into this one guy. I don't know. He has the same global on this card, so, you know, pick your poison. Would you like to play the 4 cost or the 5 cost if you're trying to get that global? I think it's okay. I don't think it's great. Kofi Kingston. What a guy. He's got a cross pulse ability. He is a 3 cost fist mask. Prep a die from your used pile. Now, if it said prep a die from your bag, that's a pretty terrible cross pulse ability. I think this one is eons better because you can prep any die from your used pile. So, for instance, let's say one of your heavy hitters went through last turn unblocked. Goes to the used pile. The next turn, you cross pulse this guy, move it on over. It's going to be wild. Also, think about this ability along with that Becky Lynch global that says the first die you purchase goes to the prep area instead of the used pile. So you could purchase this guy, pay that shield with Becky Lynch global. You could get this in the prep and any other die from your used pile. I think this is pretty sick. Again, getting 3 fist or mask or some combination of that is tricky, but for a 3 cost crossover, I think that one's pretty high value for a cross pulse ability. The next, immune to negativity. Your Kofi Kingston superstar dice can't be targeted by your opponent's global abilities. I think it's pretty bad. Next, I mean, I don't know. There's just that ability on a lot of different characters. I don't see a reason that it should be on a 3 cost crossover with like mediocre stats, but that's what happened. His last card, a 4 cost this time, has the tag out keyword, I'm a fan. Also has regenerate. Now, I know what some people just jump to. They're like, oh my God, I'm going to tag him out. It's like a KO, and then I'll regenerate him. I'll give no, it doesn't work. So regenerate only triggers if this die is KO'd. The tag out mechanic does not KO this dice. It just moves it to prep. So they don't necessarily synergize together. However, let's pretend you're in you have an advantageous opportunity. One of your other characters is going unblocked or something. You can tag him out, give the stats to the unblocked character. Or if he's going to get knocked out by something that's blocking him, you let him get knocked out, regenerate that thing. Easy peasy. I think it's all right. Kofi Kingston, you're an okay in my book. Roman Reigns, a 6 cost crossover, folks. Gonna be hard to purchase, so I hope the abilities and the stat line reflect that. He has a cross pulse ability. Deal 2 damage to target opponent. Now, friends, I have a problem with this one. We just saw a card that says anytime you get damage during the attack step, you deal 2 damage to your opponent. This one says when you purchase a 6 cost crossover, you get to deal 2 damage. It just seems bad. Here we go. 6 cost crossover Roman Reigns, the big dog. Call out. Now, call out's a sweet keyword, especially in this set. Like I said, anytime you can manipulate blockers or have your opponent have their decision-making process limited in some way, I think this is better than the other Roman Reigns, in my opinion, even just with 2 little bolded words on it. Do I still think it's worth a 6 cost crossover? No. However, I do like this one better than the first. 6 cost crossover Roman Reigns. While your opponent has less life than you, each of your active Roman Reigns dice gets +3 attack. Now we're talking, folks. We got 6 cost crossover, nearly impossible to purchase. However, when your opponent has less life than you, when you're already winning the game, your Roman Reigns dice get +3A. Now, look at the stat line here, fam. 5, 6, 7 attack. He becomes an 8, 9, 10 attack. That is what 6 cost characters should be doing. They should be changing the game. They should be impactful in terms of that final blow, This card is cool. I appreciate it. I still don't know if buying a 6-cost crossover is going to happen very often. However, I like the ability on that one. Scott Hall, 4-cost crossover. NWO founder. Cross Pulse. Spin all of your superstar dice. That means your character dice up 1 level. Pay Bolt. Target superstar die must attack this turn. Lots of things to like about this. Let's talk about Cross Pulse first. Spin all of your superstar dice up 1 level. The stat lines in this set are super dependent on what level they're on. Not all of them, some of them, but generally the biggest stat lines, they jump a lot from level 2 to level 3. The global is awesome. We've seen it before. It's been impactful before. And again, it limits what your opponent can do. It gives you more control over what their field is like. However, your opponent can use it against you. Keeping in mind, Scott Hall, I think he's going to see some use. Maybe not this version of him, especially because another version of him also has the global. Here we are. When Scott Hall attacks, spin up your non-Scott Hall superstar dice 1 level. Now, in terms of which of these is better, because they have similar abilities, right? One is a cross pulse. That means when you purchase this die. And this one is when he attacks. So when attacks ability is generally better than cross pulse or when fielded because you can attack, be blocked, come do it again next turn. Repeatability is the name of the game in terms of value. Now, speaking of value, you're going to want to get value out of this guy if you're paying 1, 2, or 2 to field him. But when attacks, again, with a stat line like this, you're going to see him knocking out sidekicks. You're going to see him knocking out some smaller characters and being able to trigger this when attacks a couple turns in a row. That being said, how many times do you really need to spin up your other character dice? Not a whole mess of times, right? 2 times max if you don't field anything new. Scott Hall, 5 cost this time. Let's see if we have a power creep in terms of cost and ability. Each of your Scott Hall superstar dice gets +1/+1 for each level 3 superstar die in the field. Yours and your opponent's. He still has the global on him. So I imagine even with the global, he's just going to get some play. Will there be some teams that try to make this work? Character dice on level 3. I mean, how many of those could you really have? Let's be honest, fielding costs in this set, sort of a sticking point. So fielding a lot of stuff on level 3 and, having multiple, like enough of them in the field for this to really be impactful, I don't know. I don't love it. Somebody's going to go for it, but I don't love it. Seth Rollins, Cross Pulse character, crossover with bolts and shields, a 4-cost. Deal 2 damage to all opposing superstar dice. Now, this is what I'm talking about. A Cross Pulse ability with an impactful timing and ability, right? So Cross Pulse is when you purchase this die using only bolts and shields, you get to deal 2 to your entire opponent's field. That's sick. First off, purchasing dice happens in your main step. Your opponent can't do anything about it. If they have stuff that has 2 or less defense, it is going to die. You don't even have to, so if this was when this character is blocked or something like that, then your characters that are blocked are always blocked. But this happens before the combat even happens, clearing some field for your big dudes. Again, even if you knock out 2 of their 5 characters, that opens up way more windows for the tag out ability, for call out, for, again, making those combat decisions tougher. Seth Rollins, I dig what you're going for, my friend. Next, pardon. When fielded, each player selects one of their non-sidekick superstar dice in the field and returns it to the card. Now, this is interesting to say the least. We've had in the, let's say past year of Dice Masters, we've had a few effects talking about returning stuff to the card or things that interact with the card. The experience keyword is talking about the card, hella global, the card, things like that. Jarlaxle takes all of your sidekicks out of the game. I mean, some things that just interact in new ways, and I appreciate that. Seth Rollins says, when fielded, we each select a non-sidekick and put it back to the card. Now, there are ways that you can plan to use this better than your opponent, right? You do both have to choose a character. However, if I happen to have no characters in the field and you do, it is a single-sided effect. If I happen to have a 2-cost character in my field and you have a 7-cost, the effect is absolutely more valuable for me than it is for you. I can see people using this as some interesting removal. I'm not sure that a 4-cost crossover is the easiest removal tool for what you're getting here, but I wouldn't call it bad. I'd just say maybe a little bit of a reach. I think within set, I don't know that we've seen any straight up direct removal yet. So this could be super strong if you're just playing in the WWE boxes and team packs. It's going to be cool. Seth Rollins 4-cost crossover with tag out. My love, tag out. When he attacks, all sidekicks must block Seth Rollins. That is fantastic. Now, think about the situations where this would be most impactful. Your opponent has 3 sidekicks and 1 character. You suck all the sidekick blockers away, which means your... this just gets better as I read it. So you attack, you suck away all the sidekick blockers, leaving only things that either they want to protect or they don't necessarily want to be blocking with for whatever reason. Then, after blockers are assigned, you use the tag out keyword of Seth Rollins. He goes to prep. Whatever has now been not blocked by sidekicks can get a +2/+2. This is like a gigantor support card. I think if your win condition is overcrush, if your win condition is just punching through with big dudes, this card is almost a must plan for. Again, it removes sidekick blockers. Then it just says, all right, see y'all, gonna tag out +2/+2 to another character. This is awesome. Even for a crossover, I think that's worth it. It has like a super supportive ability box. Sting, the Vigilante. Cross Pulse, 3-cost Cross Pulse. Immediately field this Sting die at level 1. We have not seen something like this in a while. Probably since the old Quicksilver die that had a similar ability. Cross Pulse, again, triggers when you purchase this die using only these energies. You get to use this ability. So you pay 2 masks and a shield. You've cross-pulsed Sting. He goes straight to the field at level 1. He's a 2/1 on level 1. Not great. However, we know that there are some shenanigans. In the past, people have used the Nowhere to switch this character out for something else. There is a very similar basic action in the campaign box that will be really cool with this. So you purchase the action on turn 1. You purchase Sting on turn 2. He goes straight to the field, and then you instantly can use the action. It's going to be wild. I think people are going to be messing around with this. I think it's a great ability. I think it's a great cost. I think his stat line is cool. His fielding costs aren't bad. Sting, thumbs up, my friend. 2-cost crossover. Blank, vanilla. Now, 2-cost character stat lines. Let's just talk for a second. 2/1, 2/3, 3/3. For a 2-cost character, that's average. I'll say within this set, I think it's a little below average for what 2 energy should be buying you. We've seen some 4-cost characters with gigantic stat lines. So I think it's a bit underwhelming. However, just being a 2-cost with good fielding costs might be worth a pickup if you're going to draft this set, or if you're just looking for something that's, mediocre stats. I'd say average or above average for 2 costs out of set. However, in set, I think that your value, if you're going to be paying for purely stats, this is not what I'm reaching for. But you got to have a 2-cost on your team. Go get them. 3-cost Sting. We're back to the 3-cost crossover. Tag out. That's it. Just tag out. I think that I feel like there's other better tag out options. However, if you're looking for masks and shields, maybe you're looking for energy types to be able to buy Sting. I don't know. I think it's okay. 3 costs with tag out. Plus 4 stats essentially for a 3-cost, and it goes to prep to be re-rolled. Its fielding costs are good. Things that you need to think about with these win attacks or win fielded abilities. Fielding cost is good. I'm into that. Xavier Woods. Cross Pulse. Prep this die. Now, prep this die. 4-cost crossover bolt mask. How badly do I want to prep a 4-cost with a 3/4 stat line? I don't love this one. I don't love this one. Let's pretend that I spend a lot of energy, not physically energy. I spend a lot of my mind trying to get enough bolts and masks to pay for this guy, send him straight to prep, and then I roll him the next turn and get single generic. Feels bad, man. I don't love this one. I just think there's better stuff. Let's see what else he brings to the table. Tag out, already better. 3 cost with tag out, already better. While Xavier Woods is active, you may re-roll action dice 1 extra time during roll and re-roll. Wow. Now, we've seen some action hate in the past in the form of Scarlet Witch. She requires you to re-roll your actions if they are on action phase and disallows you to roll them again if they are on double energy. So a little bit of action love here, which is a little bit odd. We haven't seen a mess of actions in this set. But even, I don't know. His tag out ability is good. However, am I going to be paying 1/1/2 each time I want to tag out this guy? I don't know. I think there's better options for tag out. In terms of action love, he's the only one we've seen so far. So if you're building with actions, you want to use that chair smash folding chair thing, he's your guy. Let's see what the last one has for us. 3 cost crossover bolt mask. If you played an action die this turn, your Xavier Woods superstar dice take no combat damage. If you played an action die this turn, they take no combat damage. I want to like it. I really want to like it. There's just so many abilities that are similar. Like, for example, in the Waterdeep box and team packs, the most recent release before this one, there was the obscure keyword. Use an action die. That character is now unblockable this turn. This just seems worse. It just seems worse. It's harder to purchase. The fielding costs are bad. Not great. However, again, in set, if you're playing just with these 2 team packs and team box, and you're playing actions, he's definitely something to look out for. Guys, that's the whole pack. The Tag Teams team pack. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Pretty excited to be opening this, sharing it with you guys. Again, if you haven't watched the video for the campaign box opening or the other Bitter Rivals team pack, check those out. Leave a comment, subscribe, and until next time, we'll see you guys. Peace.